everybody, and welcome to another episode of Sports Rambling. I am your host, Brian Belcito, and today marks the start of the NBA playoffs. Over the weekend, we had the play-in game between the Portland Trail Blazers and the Memphis Grizzlies. The Portland Trail Blazers, as we suspected, took that, and they will now be the 8th seed in the West. So I just wanted to do a quick update show about the start of the NBA playoffs and give my official picks on who I think are going to make it to the finals in the bubble over there in Orlando. So this will also be the second episode in which my friend Young Kim will join me here as a fan correspondent for the NBA. So he's a big Laker fan. Let's go ahead and I'll let him in the room right now, and we will get to giving our picks. Young,
Hear me?
Hear me, sir?
Yeah, what up? Yes, sir. I got you.
What's up, my brother? How are you feeling, man? How's everything going?
Too hot, dude. California right now. We got rolling blackouts going. I think it is so hot. It's crazy.
I heard there's some fires in California and stuff like that too.
Yeah. I was coming back on, was it Sunday?
Yeah.
I was doing a little train trip down to Santa Monica and on the way back. My train right before the stop where I was supposed to get off at, there was a fire or something. I was stuck in the train for like Yeah. So it's been kind of crazy over here.
Yeah, it's that's my home. I don't want to see anything happen to my home, so I hope you guys are all good. Be safe, man. So I let everybody know we are doing a quick predictions and just talking NBA action as the playoffs get started. It's a little somber on my side after watching that friggin' overtime game one that just coughed up.
My God, yeah.
Man, that was a good game. It was a good
Great game. Donovan was pretty much unstoppable.
Yeah,
he had no one to check him. They had no one to check him. I think they switched Grant on him, and he was torching him on the pick and roll. They were torching him.
Yeah.
And he would attack Jokic at the rim, and it was like kind of over.
They called Craig the Donovan stopper, the Mitchell stopper before the game, and that became a null and void in the second quarter when he dropped 17.
What did he score? Like 51 today?
57.
No way.
Third highest in NBA playoff history, 57.
Wow.
I was hoping he would bury that three that he shot in the last 10 seconds to give him an even 60. But
60
I think that we talked about it. You and I were messaging back and forth, and the difference in the Jazz without Bogdanovich is glaring. Spreads the
spacing.
Floor. Yeah. Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Also,
and he is a underrated defender because he's long still. Yeah. He's not super athletic, but he's long.
Right.
That matters.
I mean, he was their second leading scorer. He was putting up 20 a night all season. He hit some clutch shots too. So Conley had started to come around. If anybody out there doesn't know, he left the bubble yesterday for the birth of his son. If he gets back there today, then he would have to sit out 4 days, and then he'd be available for Game 3. If he gets back there tomorrow, he won't be available till Game 4. So.
Oh, wow. So he has to be quarantined when he comes back, quarantined for like 2 games or 3 games?
4 days.
4 days.
As long as you're tested positive every day you're outside the bubble. Excuse me, not tested positive. As long as you're tested every day out there, and you come back negative, then only 4 days. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. When what I was realizing when I was watching the game was that Will Barton and Gary Harris are not playing.
Yeah. Right.
I didn't notice that. That's a big loss for Denver.
And Denver's deep. Even without those guys, they're deep. They're tough. They probably have, I would say Denver probably has close to 2 starting lineups in their roster. Their second unit could go 500 in a season probably.
I don't know about that, but they have a really deep squad though.
They do.
Yes.
So let's get on to the matchups here. So we'll start in the East. We'll give a pick for each of them, and then we'll move forward and complete. We'll do a completion of the East before we go over to the West.
Okay.
So East 1 seed ended up being the Milwaukee Bucks, and they're playing the Orlando Magic.
I had the magic hat. On. But for the Orlando bubble,
Yes, sir.
I'm wearing this hat every time we talk about the bubble.
You're making Dennis Scott proud, my man.
Yes, sir. So, do we even need to talk about Bucks Magic?
Yeah, I don't think so.
It's a sweep. I have
probably,
a sweep.
Probably Milwaukee's pretty deep, and Greek Freak is a great player. Yeah.
Yes, Giannis. Yes.
Yep.
So
then the 4-5 is Pacers and the Heat.
Yeah, that's a good matchup.
I think so too. Yes. And I'm tempted to take the Pacers, but I think in the end, Jimmy Butler is the best player on the floor.
Yes.
So that tends to sway things for me in that series.
Yeah. And you're telling me Sabonis is out, right?
Yeah. He had a bad foot injury early in the bubble, and he left for the season.
Yeah, and plus, even though I think T.J. Warren was one of the top 3 players in the bubble, but him and Jimmy Butler have a little beef, and I love NBA beef, during the regular season, where I think Jimmy called them "you're trash" or something, right?
Yeah, it was in a regular season game where they got into
it. Yeah, and I love NBA.
They got into the whole Twitter battle and all that good stuff. So, although for Jimmy Butler, after he locked up T.J. Warren last week, he said, our beef is gone. So I guess all he had to do was shut him down and say he forgave him or something like that.
I don't know about that, but
I don't think so. I don't think T.J. Warren would take too kindly to that.
I think on that series, obviously, T.J. Warren is the key for Pacers now, so and Jimmy's gonna shut him down when it comes down to it.
Yeah, and then they got nothing that can answer the rest of the Heat. The Heat have a pretty good team. So
yes.
Then you got the 3-6 matchup in the East is the Boston Celtics. Philadelphia is shorthanded without their all-star swingman, point guard, whatever you want to call Ben Simmons. He's like a 7-foot freak of nature. And he's out. He dislocated his kneecap. So once again, Philly is shorthanded.
Yeah, and Joel Embiid I think he's having ankle problems also.
Right.
Yeah. So, and actually originally had it on my bracket, Sixers over the Celtics, but then you told me about the Ben Simmons injury.
Yeah.
That's going to be I say 4-1.
Yeah, that's what I think too. And Simmons got hurt, and then in the next game was when Embiid, he was under the basket, and he backed up and tweaked his ankle on the stanchion, the very bottom of the stanchion. And I said to you, he's very lucky he didn't Paul George that, if you remember when Paul George a couple of years ago. So
in the Olympic,
I think we both have Boston there. Tatum again. Smart playing very well. Kemba Walker. So the Celtics are they're too strong.
Gordon Hayward's playing very well. They're a top-notch team.
Right. So. Right. And then the last one, currently playing game 1 right now while we're recording this, is Toronto and the Nets. Now, I did a show the other day, and I wanted to throw out again my apologies to the Brooklyn Nets. When you and I did the show 2 weeks ago, I totally dissed them. I said, they're nothing. Those dudes have come and balled out. They haven't won a bunch of games, but they've played, and they played the Blazers competitive enough the other night that I was like, you know what, these guys are putting it out there, so good for them. They're still going to get steamrolled 4-0.
Right now I'm looking at my computer screen, 68-42. It's going to be a blowout. It's going to be a blowout. Remember we were saying just really the 1-8 and the 2-7 in the East, there's really no need to even sweep. That's it.
All right, so then that would give us, we would both have Milwaukee and Miami in the second round.
Yeah.
Milwaukee 4-1, maybe 4-2.
Bucks against Heat?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm going to take the Bucks, but I give Miami an outside chance. If Giannis gets hurt, hurt.
Right.
But that's the only way. Yeah, he's so long, and even if Jimmy checks him, but maybe Jimmy can check him. If Jimmy can check him, like how Kawhi kind of shut him down last year in the playoffs, that could be but that's the only scenario I can see where that series is close.
And you know what that'll mark is that'll mark the end of the road, I think, for Udonis Haslem, who's been there. He's been there since before Miami was Miami, I think.
Yeah.
That guy's been there forever.
Is he calling this his last year or no?
I just have a feeling because I was watching a NBA on TNT the other night. They had a really good tribute. It was him, D-Wade, and Shaq all talking back and forth. It kind of seemed like he felt like 20 years is enough for however long he's played. I believe it's 20 seasons. Just the last game in the bubble he started, and that was his 500th career start. So maybe he wants to just call it quits on that number right there. So
for being not like a superstar or whatever, he's had a long career.
He said, he won 4 rings there. So
and late in his career, he just kept getting them checks. He wasn't getting playing time, but he kept getting them checks.
And that would set up in the other bracket the 3 seed Boston Celtics against the 2 seed Toronto Raptors.
Celtics, I got the Raptors.
Okay, that's where we're going to differ. I think this is going to be the one series that goes a little sideways in the lower seed wins. I think Boston will win that series.
Think so? Okay.
Yeah, I do. I just think that like we talked about in the first round, they're deep. Toronto, don't get me wrong, Van Vliet and Siakam, these guys can all play. I just think Boston just is going to take this one. I just have a feeling about it.
The reason I'm taking Raptors, I think they have the best coach, obviously, and Siakam, Nick Nurse. I think he's currently the best NBA coach right now going.
Yeah,
and also they won last year. They had the experience, and also you have Kyle Lowry's a dog. He used to choke in the playoffs, but I think something changed last year where he just clutch.
Right.
And him versus the Kemba Walker matchup, since Kemba looks like he has kind of a gimpy knee, so I give that matchup to Lowry. And then it's gonna be Siakam versus Tatum. That's kind of a wash. Even Tatum's awesome.
Right.
So, but I think it'll be a close series. I think
that'll be one of the more competitive and fun series to watch.
I think I got Raptors in 7 on that one.
Okay. And I'll go Celtics in 7.
Okay.
That would give you a Bucks Raptors Eastern Conference Finals and me a Bucks Celtics Eastern Conference Finals. I would take the Bucks over the Celtics probably in 5 or 6 games at that point.
And I'm sticking with the champs, Raptors.
Right?
Yeah. I have them going through because I see them playing the bubble. They just play as a team.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, Nick Nurse is a great coach. He's probably going to win Coach of the Year. He won the title last year when nobody expected it. So.
Yeah.
And good stuff. We got different picks here. Then that's good.
Yeah, and who impresses me a lot is non-NBA fans who know him, but Fred VanVleet is
I love him.
He's like a stud. He's a stud. He's clutch.
Yeah, I liked watching him in college, and he's a big shot maker. He's a good player. Very solid under the radar player for sure.
Yes, very underrated.
All right, so over in the West, your Lakers are the 1 seed, and they get Dame time right in their face right off the bat.
God, yeah.
What's your call?
Oh God. I got Lakers in 6, but that is they could easily get upset if Dame and CJ catch on fire. And I think CJ had a back problem, so he had I don't know exactly the medical term for this.
Displaced, I think.
Broken back.
Something in it. Yeah. He mentioned it. He mentioned it after the game.
Yeah. And he was struggling with it, but now it's all better. Obviously, his last game, he killed it the last game.
Yeah,
he was rolling like the old school game.
And what the heck has gotten into Gary Trent Jr.? He's like Klay Thompson 2.0 right now.
Well, but with a lot of pros, the swingman at that size, they're all going to be good. They're all going to be good athletes. They all can shoot. And if you're in the right situation to perform, and Terry Stotts is a great coach, and he's going to put his players in the good spots.
Yeah.
And if you start performing, you got to get playing time, you get more confidence, and they're pros.
Yeah. He's a great example, just like Klay. He's a great example of someone who is a legacy player, meaning his dad played in the NBA.
Yeah.
And he's completely different than his father. Clay is way different than Michael. Gary Trent Jr. is way different than Gary Trent Sr. Tim Hardaway Jr. is way different than Tim Hardaway Sr. I love seeing that. That's really cool.
The advantage those guys have is that they grew up around the game just like Steph. So they know how to be professionals, how to work, all that stuff that goes into it.
Yep. You know what? And you just brought it up. There's the opposite of what I was saying. Steph is just like his pops, just better.
Well, way better.
You know what? I guess you could say Seth is comparable to pops. Seth Curry is.
You know what? Seth has impressed me. He's made a career for himself as a rotational player in the NBA.
I agree. He's going to have a long career. That guy's going to play for a long time because he can knock down those spot-up jumpers.
Yeah.
So we both have the Lakers moving on. I think it's going to be tough. We didn't even mention my guy, being a Syracuse fan. I'm a huge Carmelo Anthony fan, so I'm kind of loving seeing him have a little bit of a
Melo was clutch the last game, wasn't he? Melo was clutch. Wow. I was happy to see it.
And guess what? He's not done either. I think that he has a couple more years left, and if that squad revitalizes him and they build a couple more, they may be around for a while.
They're because I like Nurkic and Zach Collins front lineup to actually match up these. Obviously, you're not gonna stop AD, but they can actually play offense and defense to a point where AD isn't like dominant.
Right.
I think,
and I think I think AD's athleticism makes Hassan Whiteside basically a non-factor in this series. It's going to come down to Nurkic and Collins.
Yeah, Collins. Yes. I totally agree on that. And basically that series just comes down to, is LeBron going to – I think I told you this. If LeBron averages close to a 30-point triple-double in the series, Lakers will win 4-2 easily, which I think LeBron will.
Yeah, and you and I were talking the other night. I think this series – LeBron and AD are the two best players. The next 5 best players in the series might just be on the Blazers.
Yes, yeah.
Because, totally what's your third best on the Lakers? Kuzma. So I think all the guys we mentioned.
Yeah. Well, maybe Kuzma can get in there at around. Well, Dame, CJ, and Nurkic are obviously you take him over Kuzma.
Yeah.
And then would I take Trent over Kuzma? I don't know.
Would you take Melo over Kuzma at this stage in his career? You're right. It's a toss-up. That's all right in
the Melo and toss-up. Kuzma's in there somewhere in the top, whatever, 8 in the series. Somewhere.
All right. So then 4-5, Rockets and Thunder announced today that Russell Westbrook will miss the first part of the series because he's got a problem with one of his legs. I forget which one they said.
Right knee, probably, I'm guessing.
Is it? Okay.
I'm just taking a wild guess. I think he's had problems with right knee. That's the thing. Wild guess on that one.
So you go ahead. I'll look it up. You go ahead and tell me what you think in that series.
Even with Russ healthy, I had OKC just because Chris Paul has a little chip on his shoulder against Houston.
Right.
NBA, I guess, and Harden and stuff. So NBA beef. And Chris Paul's got something to prove. So I got OKC. That's the reason I'm taking OKC.
This series is full of, Harden playing against OKC. Westbrook going against OKC, Chris Paul going against the Rockets. There's all kinds of storylines in there.
All kinds of drama.
Strained right quad.
So he's out for what, 3 games, I'm guessing?
They're saying all they're saying is a few days to heal up. So maybe 2 games.
Yeah, they'll probably do some electrodes and on him, shit like that, probably, I'm guessing.
I'm going to have to go Rockets in that series myself. But I will be pulling with every fiber in my being for OKC to pull the one off. Because I do not like the Rockets at all.
But, what the thing is, okay, with the Rockets, though, I mean, the small lineup, but it's just like, who's gonna check Steven Adams on the boards? I have no clue.
Yeah, that dude can put up 25 boards a game now.
I'm guessing. And when you gave him the post against the little guys, he's gonna dominate him. I don't know. Who knows? And obviously, on the other end, they're gonna take advantage of his, movement. And get threes off.
Him.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Right. So who knows?
So that brings us to Nuggets Jazz. I
Mm-hmm.
said it to you yesterday. I'll
Yeah.
just be happy if the Jazz win one game. They may have missed their opportunity to win that one game today.
Yeah. Why? That's such a good game.
I mean, you get a
Oh,
guy
wow.
to show out and put up 57 points.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to be kicking himself for that 8-second violation with a 4-point lead with a minute and a half left in the game. That really hurt.
Mm-hmm.
You never
Yeah.
know what happens off that. You get another bucket,
Yeah.
you're up 6 with a minute 10 to go. Who knows what happens from
Yeah.
there, but whatever.
Why can you blame him? He scored, like you said, he scored 57 though. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow. That's just
Did
wow.
you see Jamal Murray after the game when he was getting interviewed?
No, I didn't see
He
that
walks
part.
over and they got these socially distanced interviews now, so she was far away from him, and she's like, so that was pretty close, and he looks up and you could see it register on his face. He looked up at the scoreboard and he goes, damn, D57? Like it was great. And you know what?
Well,
I have to say, just from being a Jazz fan, if we were going to play and get eliminated by OKC, that would bother me because Chris Paul can get under your skin during a series. If we got beat by Houston again, I'd be pissed. If we lost to the Lakers, I'd be annoyed. If we lost to the only two teams in the West that I'm okay with getting knocked out are the Nuggets and the Clippers. They knock us out of the playoffs, I'm fine with that. It is what it is. Those franchises I've always kind of had a soft spot for. So the Nuggets, Joker, and Murray are awesome.
Yeah. Didn't you used to go a lot of Clippers games, though, right? In person?
Yeah.
So you have a spot for him, right?
Yeah. My buddy, he did he owned a trucking company for our old business, and he was a season ticket holder. And then it was the Baron Davis era that I started going.
Yeah.
And then the Lob City era happened, and his season tickets got more and more expensive as they were paying the Blake Griffins and the DJs and the Chris Pauls of the world. So but those were some fun games to go to. I saw an epic game between them and I want to say the Celtics were defending champs at the time with KG and
Pierce
and Rondo and Ray Allen.
Right.
I was there so early, and we were like on the floor basically. I got to do something that was kind of like a bucket list thing. Rasheed Wallace came walking out well before tip off. There was nobody, and I just stood up and went, and he started laughing. It was one of the coolest things because I was the only person who did it, and he started laughing. So it was pretty cool. I was always a big Rasheed Wallace fan. So we both have safe to say we both have the Nuggets there, right?
I had the Nuggets, but after watching today's game, that was damn competitive, and they had no one to check Donovan. So I mean, like you said, they say Torrey Craig's a Donovan stopper, but we didn't see that today. So they'll make adjustments next game. But man, Donovan was very impressive. But then Jokic just brings Gobert out because Joker can shoot the three, so Gobert just can't camp in the paint.
Right.
Yeah. So
I would like this matchup a little bit better if we still had Derek Favors, because I think Favors stands a little bit better of a chance to move his feet and get out with Jokic out on the floor. That said, like you and I talked about too, we're a much better team when it's Donovan running the point, and then Bogey and Ingles and O'Neal and Gobert. It's just a much better lineup.
That's your best lineup for you guys.
And
so
then
we got Denver. Sadly for you, we got Denver, both of us.
And then the 2-7, you got Clippers and Mavericks. I think that's going to be a super fun series to watch just because of the star power. So.
Yes. Luka.
and Porzingis. That's a pretty good team. Dallas.
And what I was going to ask you was is that who do you think will check Luka on the Clippers? Because in the regular season, it was Beverly checking him.
Yeah,
right?
I would think that. That's an interesting question.
Like, if you were the coach, who would you have a match up with on defense?
I would probably ask one of my stars to kind of get in his face and shut him down a little bit. I would probably go with Paul George and give Kawhi. Maybe switch them up. Have them both, like, checking from possession to possession. Mix it up a little bit.
Because on the other end, Luka's for sure just go check the weakest perimeter player to give him a rest.
He's gonna go check. He's gonna go check Beverly.
He's gonna coach Beverly or whoever they think is the weakest link on the Clippers team. That'll come on, right? To give because Luka just controls everything for Dallas.
Yeah, he's a future. He's a future MVP for sure.
Hall of Famer for sure. Oh my god, because he's like a. Obviously, he's not super athletic, but he's athletic enough to where he does that little hezzy fake 3-pointer crossover, and he gets by super athletic guys like nothing. It's amazing to watch. On skill, just on pure skill. It's amazing to watch.
All right, so that puts in your bracket. That puts Lakers under in the second round.
Yes.
What you got there?
I'm a Lakers fan. Let's go Lakers.
That's fairly easy, right?
I think that's pretty much straight up series though. That's pretty much. I think Lakers have a much easier time with OKC than they'll have with the Blazers.
Agreed. And then I would have Lakers Rockets, and I'll say Lakers in 5, maybe 6, but probably 5.
Yeah, similar to me. Lakers in 5 or 6 against OKC for me.
Nuggets, Clippers.
Nuggets. I have the Clippers, but that's gonna be a 6 or 7 game series. That'd be a close series, closer than people think. It's just because I think Jokic is that good. He's just a tough matchup for any big man.
I agree. So, and Jamal Murray. Let's not forget about this guy.
Smooth jump shot. That jumper is so smooth.
He's a stud, and I liked him. I'm typically not a Kentucky guy when it comes to college. Well, actually, here's how I am with Kentucky. When they are loaded with one-and-done guys, I don't like them. When it's an off year for Cal and he's got maybe 2 one-and-done guys and some guys he needs to develop, then I can get behind Kentucky. But Jamal Murray's that guy's a beast.
I think him and Klay Thompson had the prettiest jumpers in the NBA.
Yeah, his is just
it's just like picture perfect. Like,
and Mitchell, I hate to keep going back to this, but Mitchell kept scoring, and I kept thinking, okay, we're up 2, and then here's Murray with a fadeaway, or that just sick crossover. And step back for something that I'm just going, hey, there's no way he's making that. It doesn't even touch iron. It's all net. I'm just like, man, this guy is incredible. Okay, so then that gives us, I would say Clippers in 6 or 7 over the Nuggets. So then that gives us the Battle of Los Angeles in Orlando, Florida for the title, for the a spot in the final.
Yeah, and I hate to say it, but I would have to, being objective, if I go with my heart, I'll take the Lakers. But trying to be objective, I have to take the Clippers.
Now, I wonder, and this may be blasphemy to say, but I wonder if the type of schedule that they're going to play, if we're going to start to see any wear and tear on LeBron. As they go every other day, a couple back-to-backs here. Because, in a regular playoffs, the Lakers would get, they got game 1 on Tuesday, game 2 on Friday, and then a day off to travel, and then 4 days off in between game 3 and 4 and stuff like that. They're going every other day. I just wonder if we'll start to see a little bit of
a wear and tear.
Yeah. I mean, the guy, he has to play such big minutes, and it's always with the ball in his hands. So
and against a Clipper, he's not going to get any rest.
Nope.
He's going to have to match against Paul George or Kawhi on D, right? He's not going to get rest, and they might go at him just to make him play defense. Whoever he's guarding, they might just go at LeBron just to wear LeBron down. And Doc, I think that's what Doc Rivers would do because he is one of the smarter coaches we've seen. A lot of time, right? Right, and he works the matchups always. So
one of the things with Doc is a lot like. Again, this might be blasphemy, but Doc is a lot like Phil Jackson in that Doc can manage personalities. And when you give this guy talent, he's a great coach. Absolutely great coach. When he has, I mean, that sounds silly. When you give him talent, but sometimes talent isn't the easiest thing to manage when you got a lot of big names and big personalities. So
agree. Yes. And Doc does a great job. So
he does.
I think I have the. Unless, I give Lakers a chance if AD just goes bonkers.
Yeah, right.
AD would have to just dominate and be the best player by a large margin in that series for Lakers to win. Because, let's say Rondo and Bradley are out. So just
they said today Rondo is back in the bubble, but he's 5 weeks off having broken his hand. So they said they expect him possibly back by the Western Conference Finals. So
he's not going to be effective, I don't think.
Nah.
He needs some time to get back into basketball shape and all that stuff. Right? So
all right. So I'll give you the floor for your NBA Finals. Clippers, Raptors.
I got Clippers, Raptors. I'm taking the Raptors. No, I am surprised sick, but I really like how Raptors play. They play team ball. They play as a team, and Nick Nurse is a great coach, and they have the players to plug in. Role players like Norman Powell. They have Ananui. I just like the role, and you got Gasol, former defensive player of the year, and they play the right way. And Kyle Lowry's a fucking dog. Yeah. So and Van Vliet and Siakam's emerging superstar. So, and I think Siakam can play even with Paul George or Kawhi. He's not gonna get dominated. I think he's that good because I remember last year.
Storyline. That storyline of Kawhi leaving, going to LA, and then they match up in the finals against each other. That would be just amazing.
Like what I saw from Siakam, I'm sorry to cut you off, but what I saw from Siakam last year that impressed me because Draymond Green was checking him, right? Yeah. Draymond Green, defensive player, one of the best defensive players I've seen, right? Siakam was fucking torching him. I'm serious. I was going, oh my God, Siakam's getting by him like easy, like. Yeah. And this is one of the best defensive players in the league.
Yeah, and he's really long.
Yeah, so Siakam really impressed me last year in the finals. So, so I think he can play either Paul George or Kawhi kind of even, right? Yep. And then the rest is just team ball or something. Yeah, so let's see what happens.
That gives me the finals of the Milwaukee Bucks against the Los Angeles Clippers. And for the first time in history, the Clippers will be able to take the Polaroids down out of Staples Center and add an actual banner to Staples Center. I think the Clippers will take it, but I think it'll go 7. And heck, anything can happen in a game 7. So
and if the Clippers do make the finals, as LA. I should root for. I'm just going by objective opinion. I would root for the Clippers, but I think the Raptors will win. That's why either LA team goes the finals. I'm gonna obviously root for the LA team, but just being trying to be objective, I got the Raptors winning it. That's it.
Yep. All right, man. So we are gonna close this up here. You've got a championship pick by my boy Young here of Clippers Raptors with the Raptors taking it. I have Clippers Bucks with the Clippers taking it. I hope everybody enjoys the playoffs. We are going to check in. You down to check in every week or so or something like that?
Let's
do each series completes.
Yeah, each round completes.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah,
that'd be fun. Preview it. Okay.
All right, cool.
So let's see how our picks did in the first round and then go on.
Yeah, let's do it. So,
all right, cool, dude.
We will do that, and I appreciate anybody that's watching. This has been another episode of Sports Rambling with Brian Belcito. We will see you next time. Thank you, Young. It was great talking to you.
Take care, Brian.
Stay safe out there, man.
You too.